final game of the regular season. Hard to believe. Next week at this time, the TSSAA will be in the first round of the playoffs. Baylor, of course, getting a first-round bye. So Baylor will not be in action until 2 weeks from tonight, and, of course, we don't know their opponents. Everything was figured out. I had it all figured out. My brackets were in Sharpie. That's how confident I was. And then today, it hit the fan, at least for Lipscomb. The TSSAA announced today that Lipscomb is out of the playoffs this year and next year because of rule violations. So now that affects 3 games in the playoffs. Lipscomb is going to appeal. The TSSAA is going to figure that out and come up with a brand new pairings next Monday or Tuesday. And so some of the games next week will not be played on Friday. 3 games apparently will be played on Saturday. Craig, you figure it out.
I don't know that I can. I know tonight Lipscomb is playing Father Ryan. And does that game mean anything? Well, probably not.
No, Lipscomb play Macaulay tonight, but they were scheduled to play Father Ryan next week.
See, I'm already confused in the postseason. Bottom line tonight is neither one of these teams have a tremendous amount to play for in terms of seeding, really nothing to play for. But question is, how do you manage your starters? We'll get into that a little bit later. But, you know, what an unusual turn of events. Lipscomb, a team Baylor beat here in a pretty tight contest. And, boy, they get the rug pulled out from under them by the TSSAA this afternoon. And what is sure to be a hotly appealed and contested decision. It's just hard to believe, Jim, that things can change so quickly with, playoff probation for 2 years. That is severe.
Yeah, last we knew, Knox Catholic was locked in as the number 5 seed in the East and were ready to take on Briarcrest. I think that's still in stone. So both these teams know who they're going to play. Nothing's going to change this evening regardless of the outcome. So how do you approach the football game? Head coaches are going to have to make some decisions. How many guys do they play? How long do they play it? It's going to be an interesting night.
The first thing that people notice when they drive upon the campus is just the beauty.
700 acres really lends us to space to have unbelievable facilities, not only athletic facilities, but academic facilities.
There's just so much to do, so much to explore, and an incredible faculty who are skilled and knowledgeable, but more than anything, care very much about the student experience.
It's really not a job for them. It's a passion. Every single teacher here has really cared about our success.
To me, what makes Baylor is the people. The teachers, the coaches, that is what made a difference in my life. And so in choosing a school for my own children, there was no other choice but Baylor.
It's very much about helping an athlete find the right level. Every time that a kid puts on the Baylor uniform, it's important.
In so many facets of the Baylor experience, there is no bench. Everybody gets to be a starter in their own way, be it academically, artistically, athletically, or other areas of campus where you get to really shine and explore your talents and interests or pick up a new one.
At Baylor, you can do anything you want here if you put your mind to it. You're always going to have somebody supporting you, telling you if this is something we want to do, we can do it.
Our students want the experience of being away from home. They want the freedom of becoming who they were created to be.
I really appreciate the amount of culture Baylor School exposed to me. We have boarders from all over the world. What Baylor School offers me is an opportunity to actually challenge myself.
Us kids, we are the face of the future, and this school allows us to push ourselves to truly be our best.
We get the opportunities at Baylor to make a positive difference, to go conquer the world.
At Baylor, we are developing the leaders for tomorrow.
Baylor leads.
Ready to go? Yes. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Baylor School, Haywood Stadium, Red Etter Field, and tonight's Division II football game between the Knoxville Catholic High School Fighting Irish and the Red Raiders of Baylor. We would like to extend a warm welcome to the fans who have traveled to the game from Knoxville. And at this time, we would like to introduce the starting lineup for the visiting Irish, coached by Philip Shadowins and Steve Matthews. In numerical order, number 0, safety, sophomore George Mancini. At wide receiver and linebacker, number 1, senior Connor Ruth. Defensive back, number 2, senior Jalen Harmon. Defensive end, number 4, junior Brendan Goodson. Linebacker and running back, number 5, senior Quincy Pennell. Defensive back, number 6, sophomore Dominic Dadabo. Wide receiver, number 7, sophomore Tyreek King. Quarterback is number 8, junior Jaden Neal. Linebacker, number 9, senior Bryson Gardner. Running back and linebacker, number 10, Grayson Goodale. Safety, number 11, sophomore Aaron Mays. Defensive end, number 50, senior Keelan Smith. Nose tackle is number 51, senior Antori Hamilton. Left guard, number 52, sophomore J.R. Fowler. The center is number 55, senior Cooper Crook. Right tackle, number 68, senior Andon Mashburn. Left tackle, number 73, sophomore Jacob Rice. Right guard, number 78, senior Hayden Oliver. And the kicker and punter, number 93, junior Gavin Menard. The officials for tonight's contest: referee is Steve Tompkins. The umpire is John Bowe. The linesman is Timothy Tyke Gooden. The line judge is Ricky Newbill. The back judge is Edmund Garby. The side judge is Chandler Heumann. Field judge is Michael Baird. The ECO is Dale Tillman. And the PCO is Jason Henderson. We'd also like to announce, with 15 minutes left in the first half, the score in the state championship soccer game is Baylor 2, Harpeth Hall 0. We'll keep you informed. Tonight's high school football game is made possible in part by Park Ridge Health System. With 5 hospitals working together as one in the Chattanooga region, Park Ridge Health provides a full range of medical and mental health care, including sports medicine and orthopedics. For more information, visit parkridgehealth.com. And this game is being played according to the rules of the Tennessee Secondary School Athletic Association. These rules provide for fair competition among players. Spectators can also help to promote good sportsmanship by observing the rules of fair play. Each one is requested to take personal responsibility for keeping this game at a high level of sportsmanship. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this being the last regular season home game, it's the traditional time to honor our graduating seniors and to thank them and their parents for their contributions to the Red Raider football program over the years. We'll be introducing them in alphabetical order, starting with, on your left, number 55, center Dom Clifford. Dom is a one-year boarding student from Knoxville, Tennessee. He is escorted by his parents, Steve and Jacqueline Clifford. Dom Clifford. Number 6, cornerback and wide receiver, TJ Fields. TJ is a 7-year day student from Chattanooga, Tennessee. He is escorted by his parents, Tony and Alicia Fields. TJ Fields. Number 46, linebacker and tight end, Carter Garrett. Carter is a 7-year day student from Lookout Mountain, Tennessee. He is escorted by his parents, Carter and Julie Garrett. Carter Garrett. Number 8, cornerback and wide receiver, Joshua Hampton. Josh is a 7-year day student from Ooltewah, Tennessee. He is escorted by his parents, Patrick and Sharinda Hampton. Joshua Hampton. Number 7, wide receiver, Amari Jefferson. Amari is a 7-year day student from Chattanooga, Tennessee. He is escorted by his parents, Justine and Mario Jefferson. Amari Jefferson. Number 20, linebacker and kick returner, Grady Joyner. Grady is a 7-year day student from Chattanooga, Tennessee. He is escorted by his parents, Trey and Laura Joyner. Grady Joyner. Number 95, place kicker and punter, Cooper Kyown. Cooper is a 2-year day student from South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. He is escorted by his parents, Laura Willman and Bobby Kyown. Cooper Kyown. Number 11, tight end, Max LeBlanc. Max is a 2-year boarding student from Montreal, Canada. He is escorted by his mother, Christine LeBlanc. Max LeBlanc. Number 16, linebacker Nelson McKnight. Nelson is a 7-year day student from Ringgold, Georgia. He is escorted by his parents, Chris and Mandy McKnight. Nelson McKnight. Number 9, quarterback Whit Muschamp. Whit is a 2-year boarding student from Columbia, South Carolina. He is escorted by his parents, Carol and Will Muschamp. Whit Muschamp. Number 73, offensive and defensive lineman Emerson Petty. Emerson is a 7-year day student from Cleveland, Tennessee. He is escorted by his parents, Christy Holden and Ralph Petty. Emerson Petty. Number 29, linebacker and tight end Cole Phillips. Cole is a 7-year day student from Chattanooga, Tennessee. He is escorted by his parents, Todd Phillips and Corey Phillips. Cole Phillips. Number 33, defensive end and blocking back, Balint Rendesi. Balint is a 2-year boarding student from Erd, Hungary. He is escorted by Bill and Ayana Winchester. Balint Rendesi. Number 72, left guard Owen Rose. Owen is a 4-year day student from Saudi Daisy, Tennessee. He is escorted by his parents, Jason and Michelle Rose. Owen Rose. Number 10, defensive lineman Domani White. Domani is a 4-year day student from Cleveland, Tennessee. He is escorted by his mother, Crystal Rogers, and his grandfather, Jerry Rogers. Domani White. And of course, with him is number 0, defensive lineman Quincy White. Like his brother, he is escorted by his mother, Crystal Rogers, and his grandfather, Jerry Rogers. Domani and Quincy White. Together for a final group picture, let us again applaud this outstanding group of Baylor seniors.
Jim Reynolds, Craig Cecil, as the seniors were given their recognition, their tribute that they well deserve. That group will claim at least one state championship, which ain't a bad resume when you think about it.
Especially when it's the first one in 49 years.
And that was a pretty good group. And I think they'll be going on, many of them with athletic scholarships,
yes.
Others with just scholarships onto the next level, put it that way. So pretty good group right there. A moment ago, we were talking about the Baylor Red Raiders taking on Knox Catholic tonight. Final game, regular season. Playoffs get underway next week. Baylor 7-2, 5-1 at home. Remember, they lost, it seemed like an eternity ago. Lost that first home game of the season. Since that time, they've reeled off 5 straight home field victories. Knox Catholic 5-4 overall, 1-3 on the road, 3-2 at home, 2-2 on the road. What says, in my opinion, a whole lot about this Knox Catholic team, how good they are. They had McCauley on the ropes last week and couldn't quite seal the deal against the number 1 team in the state last week when they had them at home.
Jim, they forced 4 turnovers last week, a kickoff return for a touchdown, a pick 6. Their offense scored 2 offensive touchdowns, and they did. They had McCauley on the ropes. They couldn't close the deal, but you certainly see the potential of what Knox Catholic can do. They are loaded with tradition. They feel like they're great on the skill positions, a little bit undersized on each line. They have a number of kids that play both ways, but boy, they've got some skill, Jim, and they can put some points on the board in all 3 phases of the game.
Yeah, good skill position, good quarterback, and again, if the quarterback, Jaden Neal, gets time to throw, because he doesn't always have time to throw with that offensive line that you said, a little bit on the undersized area. So if he has time, he's got receivers and skilled players. We're going to see a showcase of receivers and skilled players on the field tonight.
Jaden Neal has thrown for 2,214 yards this season, 21 touchdown passes. He's also had to run for his life on some of those occasions, but what that tells me is that's a resourceful quarterback that knows how to get the ball to his skilled players in space.
Been very interesting on the coaching situation with Knox Catholic, isn't it?
Well,
they had a coach that resigned at the end of last season, Corey Mobbs, hired a coach in the summer. He left. Now they have co-head coaches, which as they say, so far so good. That doesn't work all the time, but it's working at least this season so far.
Well, it's Steve Matthews and Philip Shadowins. Matthews is the veteran. He coached at Knox Catholic, won 79 games for them, and a state championship. He returns basically to work on the defensive side. Philip Shadowins, also an interim co-head coach. His emphasis will be offensive, and you're right, Jim, when you have two head coaches, I don't think I've ever seen that, especially at this level of high school football, but they've made it work so far this season. And on the positive side, that gives you two different ways of scouting an opponent and breaking down and attacking an opponent. We'll see how effective those two are tonight.
Say they both bought in at the beginning of the season, understood what the situation was. So after late, normally you don't make that type of decision until it happens. And said, you know what? We're going to make it work, and guess what they've done?
They made it work.
They made it work, no doubt about that. Let's check the starters for the Red Raiders tonight on the final regular season game of the year.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to please stand for the invocation before tonight's game, to be delivered by Alex Gallimore, the chaplain of Baylor School. Then please remain standing for our national anthem, to be sung tonight by the Baylor Concert Choir under the direction of Vic Oakes. First, Reverend Gallimore.
Let us pray. Creator God, we thank you for the beauty and the splendor of the world you have made, and for these changings of the seasons we have experienced this week. Tonight we gather once more in the spirit of pageantry and sportsmanship, as we're reminded of the changing of the seasons that are ever present in our own lives, particularly among these seniors, whom we celebrate this evening. We thank you for the ways in which you have inspired them to contribute to the life of our school, and the ways they will continue to inspire us in their lives. May we all be reminded that you have made each of us for the purpose of continuing the work of your creation as we seek to make a positive difference in your world. May the passion and energies we feel this evening reflect such lives. This we ask for the sake of your name. Amen. And go Big Red.
Well done.
and our national anthem as we return to Baylor game day, getting ready for the final regular season game of the year. Baylor taking on one of their traditional rivals, squaring off against the Fighting Irish of Knox Catholic this evening. Like I said, in case you didn't hear the news earlier today, and it sent ripples, no question, over Division II AAA, that the TSSAA has named Lipscomb ineligible for the postseason this year. I mean, starting next week and for the year after that. Right now, and again, this is going to change apparently because the TSSAA said because Lipscomb is ineligible and Lipscomb is appealing, so they'll have to hear the appeal in the next day or so and make a decision on that. But as of this second, Knox Catholic is the number 5 seed from the East, and they have already put on their website that they're playing the number 4 seed from the West, Briarcrest, and that will be next Friday at 7. Then Macaulay is the number 1 seed on that side of the bracket and will receive a first-round bye. Montgomery Bell is the 3 seed from the East. They receive a first-round bye. The only game tonight that really has bearings on the playoffs in AAA is Christian Brothers and Ensworth. Those two teams play each other tonight. The winner will be the number 2 seed in the West, and the loser will be the number 3 seed in the West. Okay? Your question is, how does that affect Baylor? Because either Christian Brothers or Ensworth will play Brentwood Academy next week in the opening round of the playoffs. The winner of that game will play here on November 10th, 2 weeks from tonight. And just quickly, as things stand right now, it was Father Ryan that was the 5 seed West to take on Lipscomb, the 4 seed East, and then a bye in the number 1 seed in the West is Memphis University School. So there's a chance that Baylor would only get one home game in the playoffs, which would be next week, because if Baylor, a 2 seed, would take on Memphis University, a 1 seed, Baylor would have to travel to MUS before they would possibly head to Finley Stadium. So yeah, I said this earlier, what we thought we knew, maybe we don't know, because Lipscomb and the TSSAA has thrown a little monkey wrench in this whole playoff scenario that I was so positive about 4 hours ago.
Well, and it also depends on, what they rule in the appeal. You kind of have to doubt that it's going to be flipped, it's going to be overturned, but certainly leads to an air of uncertainty for a whole host of teams. We saw Baylor compete against Lipscomb and beat them here earlier in the season. But something went wrong, and something that was pretty obvious, because to get slapped with a 2-year playoff probation,
effective immediately.
I mean, that is they must have had some evidence that was just open and shut, literally.
Yeah, you mentioned, so the TSSAA will hear the appeal by Lipscomb. I saw an Andy Griffith today where they appealed to the Justice of the Peace, who was also Andy. And they said, I
think it's the same situation.
I'm guessing you don't lose a lot of cases. He goes, no, we don't. The sheriff appeals to the Justice of the Peace. Similar in the TSSAA. Well, let's see what happens to Lipscomb. I'm sure they have someone that represents them well on their side. And the question we have, we were talking about earlier, is how do you approach this game if you're Eric Kimry? And again, everyone wants to win. Everyone wants to finish the season strong. Everyone wants to, what do we always say in basketball, peak at tournament time. So you obviously want to go into the postseason with a head of steam and a victory and all that kind of stuff. But what if you lose a key player in the fourth quarter of a meaningless game? Then you start second-guessing yourself a little bit. So it's not as, I made the point, what did Brian Snitker do the last 2 weeks of the season? Whatever he did, he should have done something different. But that's another story for another day.
Well, I think what you're looking for, Jim, if you're Eric Kimmer, you want 2 things. You want to see good execution, and you want to give your team in this game some momentum. Here's why. You don't play football next week, which is a good thing to get everybody healthy. But you may lose a bit of that sharp edge that you've earned by competing week after week all season long. So you need to see 2 things, execution. And if you execute properly, you build momentum. You give your team confidence heading into their matchup in 2 weeks from tonight, because it's one and done after tonight.
Yeah, once you get in this scenario, you are correct. You better bring your A game every week, because a B game isn't going to be good enough. But when I talked to Coach Kimry following the Macaulay game, he said, you know what? There were so many positive things that came out of this loss, out of the loss to Macaulay. He said, first and foremost, We know we can compete with anyone. And I think if you know that going into the playoffs, and I wouldn't argue with them, I haven't seen a team that Baylor could not compete with and beat in, if you play good football. So you bring your A game the rest of the way, good things are going to happen. And again, what did Jim Belvano say? Survive and advance.
Right. And let's be honest, Jim, this team has been pointing to this all season long. Not just defending, but grabbing another state championship. They got a taste of it last year. They enjoyed it. And for the group of men you see here, these seniors, nothing would be sweeter than to close out this season in Chattanooga with the big gold football.
I was going to say, think about back-to-back. You hadn't won a state championship in 49 years, and this group would have a chance to do that in back-to-back seasons. That would be, you would become a legacy, I would say, no question.
That would be something they would talk about for a long time here at Baylor.
See the captains for the Red Raiders, including Whit Muschamp, whose dad
is here
tonight. He's got another job somewhere, right?
He does. Defensive coordinator for the Georgia Bulldogs.
How's their season go?
They've done well.
They're doing all right.
They're living up to expectations.
You see the coin flip going on. Well,
and what seems like happens every week, Baylor will start with the football.
Yeah, we win. We'll take the football first. You win the toss. You defer. That's what we want as well. Take the football first. Something Baylor is awfully good at. We mentioned a couple of weeks ago kind of a rebuilt offensive line for the Red Raiders in their game last week against NBA where they won 35-0. So it's hard to find too many faults with that. But even the new look on the offensive line has proven to be pretty successful. I think both these teams, I think we're going to have fun. I think we're going to have a good highlight reel tonight because there are so many talented, skilled players that will be competing here tonight.
And one thing, in talking to some people from Knox Catholic this week, they feel good about this defense. They're solid fundamentally. They will not beat themselves. They're going to be in the right place at the right time.
I'll tell you what impressed me the most about Knox Catholic. Their linebacker core is really good. And they will send the linebackers. Connor Ruth, the outside linebacker, has 6 sacks so far this year. That means they're not, most of the time they'll go with a three-man front. But they're going to send that linebacker, maybe linebacker 1, maybe linebacker 2. They could send 4 or 5 and put some pressure on you that way.
And Jim, what that does is it puts some pressure on Whit Muschamp to decode and decipher that at the line of scrimmage as soon as he can.
And I'll say this, have you seen a better decision maker this year in high school football?
I haven't. I really haven't. Number 9 has just done it all from a leadership and a tactical execution standpoint for the Baylor offense this year.
Yeah, if you ask Craig and I, the number 1 asset for Whit Muschamp, I would say this. Not his arm, not his legs. His decision-making ability has been absolutely off the charts.
Also does a great job at protecting the football.
Yeah.
Even when he throws it aggressively to conservative locations, and he tends to put his receivers in great position to catch the ball and advance after that.
So the Red Raiders will get the football first. Let me just give the update. At halftime, in case you do not know, the Baylor soccer team is playing for the state championship as we speak. And Baylor has a 2-0 lead over Harpeth Hall, and that game is at the half. What would you say, 5-6 miles down the road from where we are right now?
Yes, not far from here.
They're hoping that the Baylor soccer team, first of all, will win the state championship and maybe make it here to the 4th quarter. That's a lot. Not that Baylor can't do it. I'm betting on Baylor. I'm not betting on Chattanooga traffic.
That's what I was going to say. It's not the game. It's the traffic.
2-0 lead by Baylor at halftime in that state soccer championship game going on right now. Kicking off to the Red Raiders, and it will be returned from the 5 up to the 20, to the 25, and across the 30. Good start for the Red Raiders. Cam Sparks. Nice return. 1st and 10 Red Raiders underway in this final game. Are you sure it's the final game of the regular season?
It's hard to believe.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. The only thing I can measure is we don't squint in the first quarter like we did in those first games of the year. Sun is well behind the hill, well behind the mountain. 1st down and 10 Red Raiders. Knox Catholic, the Fighting Irish. And Baylor begins at the 32-yard line, first down and 10 yards to go. Muschamp throws on first down, flares it out to Shakai Mills-Knight. Down the near sideline, stays in bounds and breaks a tackle. Brings it down to the 45-yard line on the first play of the game.
That's a trendsetter, and Shakai Mills-Knight shows why he was offered this week by the University of Cincinnati.
Think about Shakai Mills-Knight, where he has come from game 1 to game number 10. Incredible.
As that ankle has gotten better, he has gotten better.
Funny how that works. Two receivers far side, now shifting LeBlanc in the tight end to the right. And going up the middle, running room again. Mills-Knight, he may have another first down to about the 35-yard line. Had to get to the 36 to get a first down. Might be right in the area.
They move LeBlanc and Ben Darnell to the right side, and Shakai ran right behind them. They're going to move the chains for another first down.
So it's 1st and 10. So as usual, Craig and I talked about all the great wide receivers. What do we see on the first plays of the game?
Running.
Run. Muschamp to throw with time. Look at it in the end zone. Perfect ball. Touchdown. Boy, you can see that develop all the way here. Cam Sparks got inside leverage, and that is as pretty a pass you've seen all season long.
Fantastic job by the Baylor offensive line. They just stood up Knox Catholic, and Whit Muschamp had time, loaded, and threw a dart.
Boy, that pass was as pretty as you have seen all year. Just exactly the right amount of lead, right amount of air underneath. Hits Cam Sparks in stride.
And once again, Jim, on the opening possession, we see Baylor score. I feel like that's happened almost every game we've done here at home.
Muschamp to Cam Sparks. 36 yards on the touchdown pass. The drive was 68 yards and a whopping 3 plays. Using 2 minutes and 1 second. Watch the replay of this. What a perfect ball. Look at that.
Just in stride.
What? Look at that.
Cam Sparks in stride, absolutely wide open, and that's just the way the doctor ordered it up for the Baylor offense to start.
Touchdown on the first possession.
Tell you what, Jim, if you're Knox Catholic, you got to reload, because 2 minutes into the game,
you got a standing 8 count. You got to smash.
Yeah, you've got to answer with your offense, and you've got to keep their offense off the field. So, once again, something Baylor does every game. They put so much pressure on a team's offense because of their offense.
That's why they love getting the football first, because they can do that.
And you can't argue with the results.
No, you cannot. Fielded on about the 17-yard line. They have a good return team, trying to get wide, but not getting much. Across the 20 to about the 25-yard line, and now we'll see the Fighting Irish in action. Down 7-0. 10:50 to play in quarter number 1. Jim Reynolds, Craig Cecil, and our crew here watching the final game of the regular season. All right, we mentioned that Knox Catholic has had some problems protecting their quarterback. Pick your poison. You want Quincy? You want Damani?
Or you want John Amofa Jr.?
That's a thing. What's my other choice? Sending the man in motion and a handoff up the middle for negative, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know if he got back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, if there's big John Amofa Jr. and Nelson McKnight from his linebacker spot.
5'11", 237 freshman from Ellenwood, Georgia, John Amufa. You talk about someone that started good and has gotten better. You started a freshman
at defensive end.
I was going to say, at nose tackle on the
defensive line. And now he's playing nose.
That's crazy. Second down, trying to keep to the ground. A little bit of running room that time by Grayson Gooddale, 5'11", 185 senior.
They love Grayson Gooddale. Plays on both sides of the football and What they told me this week is he's just a solid football player on both sides of the ball.
Big 3rd down and 5 for Knox Catholic right now. 3rd down and 5. Baylor already scores on their opening possession of the game. On a Muschamp to Cam Sparks, 36-yard touchdown pass. Splitting the backfield, sending the man in motion. And dropping back. Over the middle of the field, incomplete and up in the air. And when you see that ball deflect a little bit, TJ Fields just for a second thought he had an opportunity.
Boy, they brought Connor Ruth in motion, but they really didn't challenge that at all, didn't even acknowledge it. They threw back to the middle of the field, and Baylor just had that suffocatingly defended.
So 4th and 5 from the 31-yard line. Guy late running on the field. You know, it's game number 10. High snap. Yeesh. But he gets off a nice kick. Trying to fair catch, bobbles it. You dribble it one time and
Tyler Rice reeled it in. I don't know that he had enough room to make that catch. It looked awfully tight there.
So they'll give it to the Red Raiders on the 43-yard line. Baylor 1-for-1, first possession, a touchdown. Celebrating final game of the regular season. I saw a lot of proud parents out there. I don't know about you.
Oh, absolutely.
As you should be, I might add.
Lots of seniors on this field tonight.
Talented seniors in many ways. Muschamp flares it out. Running room near side.
And let's give Cam Sparks a big dose of congratulations. Fantastic downfield block, but there's a flag on the play.
Mari Jefferson. Every coach, everywhere, every level. I've said it many times. They love receivers who block.
Well, in this offense, you need to block because they're going to be blocking for you the way the ball's distributed.
Holding offense.
Wow.
We'll repeat, first down.
So that's coming all the way back and then some.
So holding call, a little bit downfield. Look at that. Gain of 2 after the hold. So it's first down and 8. Cam Sparks turns it upfield. Trying to use his speed a little bit, trying to turn that corner. But
I'd say eyes.
Good pursuit, though.
Little pop pass, and he just turned something into something that was really nothing when he first got the football. Knox Catholic had great penetration that time, but Cam Sparks saw his way around and turned that into a positive gain.
So it's second down and about 6. Second down 6 for the Red Raiders, who already have a 7-0 lead. Setting up the screen.
Boy, Jim, what a great play call that time by Coach Kimry. Knox Catholic brought a blitz. They had a screen set up. They threw right into it.
I think we're going to have our...
But it's going to come back as well.
Another holding call.
Holding offense, number 8. Replay, second down.
So they're going to call Josh Hampton for that.
Offensive line for the Red Raiders, Jimmy Bryson, Owen Rose, Teague Johnson, Emerson Petty, Don Clifford. Group's done a pretty good job this year. Probably haven't gotten all the credit they deserve. Second straight holding call, second call on this drive against the Red Raiders. So 2nd and 15. And another flag.
Well, that time Jacob Rice for Knox Catholic had some serious penetration.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense. Replay, second down.
You know what the coaches don't love? Pre-snap penalties.
Yes.
Especially in game number 10.
This drive, this is the 3rd penalty on this drive, and they are way in reverse.
Drive started at the 43-yard line. And you look at it, 3 penalties on the drives. They're only at the 32. I'm grasping for straws just a tad, but you get 2 holding calls and a false start. It could be a heck of a lot worse than 2nd down and 20. Mills Knight. Muschamp with some pressure. Complete to Cam Sparks. Look at that speed. Cuts it upfield, spins up, gets to the 42-yard line.
So much of that, Jim, is instinctive, and we have another flag on this play. 2 flags.
Wow. It's always a reaction.
I think we can tell where
Personal
this play is
foul.
going.
Blindside block. Offense. Still 2nd down.
Wow.
Pick up that flag.
And this is moving them
I was going to say.
way back.
We're playing this series between the 25s,
We
right?
are.
Really between the 50 and the 25. It's going forward, going backward, forward, backward. 4th penalty of this series, right?
Yes.
Yes. 2 holdings, a false start.
A false start and a personal foul.
And now the
which leads
blind
to
side.
2nd and 26.
Yeah, it's getting a little tougher, I would say. Mills Knight. Good penetration. Muschamp buys himself some time, puts it up in the air. Pass complete to Zane Rastelli. Gets down the near sideline again. You put yourself in a, you got an opportunity here.
Christopher Oliveira for Knox Catholic was doing some damage there. Actually, that was Antori Hamilton, number 51, but Muschamp again slid to his left and really got a substantial chunk of that yardage back. Now you have a 3rd and 8.
I was going to say, you want to talk about a manageable situation. 3rd and 8. Muschamp could have run, but he knew he couldn't pick up that kind of yardage on the run. So 3rd down and 8. Muschamp going long. Up in the air, and don't tell me he brought that down. Yes, he did. Rastelli back to back, and a nice catch. One-on-one coverage. That's one of those 50-50 balls. Guess who won the battle on that 50-50 matchup?
Zane Rastelli went up, high-pointed that baby, and held on.
Yeah, that was the most impressive part.
Yes.
Holding on after he hit the ground. Knox Catholic trying to rake it away, and instead of going short, they go long down to the 14-yard line, 1st and 10. Already a 7-0 lead for the Red Raiders. This is possession number 2. Mills Knight up the middle. I think all in all, if they get in the end zone, I will say that's many plays, 170 yards, gain some, lose 20.
And as an offense, you want to talk about feeling bulletproof. You get in the end zone after those penalties, you are doing something.
Can you think of a drive where someone was able to overcome 4 penalties? 4. So many times we say, well, they overcame a holding call. They overcame 2 holding calls. They overcame 4 penalties. And maybe it's 5, or the possibility.
Prior to the snap, encroachment by the defense. Replay the down.
Knox Catholic crosses it in the neutral zone. It's going to be 5 yards.
Foul on the Irish. They came so close to upsetting McCauley last week. So again, you know what we were talking about before the game. If you believe you can beat anyone,
That's half the battle.
Yeah, they came as close as you can get to upsetting the Blue Tornado last week. Muschamp, fade, corner, look, incomplete. Little pushing and shoving at the end. There was some contact. A little sportsmanship right there.
Ball just maybe a little lower than Whit Muschamp probably wanted that time.
And the left cornerback we're talking about, Jalen Harmon, he is good.
Yes.
That's going to be a battle worth watching tonight, either Amari Jefferson or Cam Sparks. If they're locked up on Harmon, that is going to be a fun battle to see tonight. Harmon that time.
During the pass, defensive pass interference. On the defense, of course. They half the distance to the goal. Replay 2nd down.
I did not see that flag.
I didn't either. So Knox Catholic jealous of all the penalties that Baylor's had on this drive. So on this drive, Baylor's had 4. Now Knox Catholic is at 2. 6 penalties on this particular drive that puts Baylor at the 4-yard line. Mills Knight came into this game with 99 carries, carried at the first 2 plays of the night, so over 100 carries for the year. Had a great week last week as well. Second down and goal for the Red Raiders. Breaks a tackle, gets it down to about the 3, maybe the 2.
Boy, you thought that play was blown up with
Yes.
a high snap, messed up the timing, but once again, number 1, Shakai Mills-Knight turned it into positive yardage.
Third and goal from the 3. So what do? Do you pound number 1 in the running back spot?
Why not?
Whit Muschamp. Yes, you do. Mills Knight makes the pile move.
Goes right behind the left side of that offensive line. Ben Darnell, Max LeBlanc, and company. And it's a 3-yard touchdown.
Baylor in the end zone at the 4:51 mark, despite 4 penalties. Think about that. Mills Knight on a 3-yard touchdown run. And that is, by the way, touchdown number 10 for Mills Knight on the season. Took a while. Baylor took possession with 9:22 to play in the quarter. Finally scored the 4:51 mark. 4:51. I think you have 9 plays. They go, like I said, they went a net 57, I'll put it that way. But it went a lot forward and backward. Mills Knight, you could see, got in the end zone before the knee was down.
Again, that offensive line, nice surge that time.
So 2 possessions, 2 scores. Baylor 2 out of 2.
And if you're the Fighting Irish, your offense has got to give this defense somewhat of a breather, because right now it's a standing 8 count.
So Baylor goes 57 yards, 9 plays, 4 minutes and 13 seconds time of possession. Mills Knight 3-yard touchdown run. Red Raiders a 14-0 lead. 2 possessions, 2 scores so far tonight. A bit of a short kick that hits the ground. That's Baylor football. Did he hang on?
Popped out. I think the Irish recovered.
He had it for a second, had
Sure
both hands
did.
on the football. When it goes 10 yards, no matter what happens, it's a free football. It's anyone's football. If it travels 10 yards, which it obviously did, that's a free football right there. And so that means it didn't have to touch anyone from Knox Catholic. That would have been a Baylor possession had the Red Raiders able to hang on.
They've done some scouting special
Yes.
teams wise. It looked like Grady Joyner drew a bead on that, just could not hold on as he took a heck of a shot as he caught that football.
Those are the things you see on film, saying that maybe this is a little dead spot. That's when they're very good players. We talked about Braylon Harmon, who's down on that far sideline. You can see being attended to.
Boy, this is the time now where Knox Catholic quarterback Jaden Neal has got to stabilize his offense and just put together a couple of first downs, if nothing else.
Don't you feel like this just his first down play? I would think you just want to throw a little bit, get a couple of yards, get something positive on first down.
A safe pass.
Yeah.
Nothing
exactly.
Nothing exotic, just basic.
We said Jaden Neal, the quarterback for the Irish, certainly has the ability to do just that. Sends the man in motion, hand it off. See, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have lost 2 yards. I might have had an incomplete pass, but I said, you know what? Quincy White's not my best friend right now. Ran in the big 0.
Grayson Goodale, they love him for his all-around play. That time his offensive line didn't give him any room to work. Loss of 1.
So 2nd and 11. Back at the 18-yard line. Losing a yard on first down. I just thought that first down play for the Irish was really important. Baylor with that 3-man front that has been so good this year. Then you put Rendesi in there, cheating up sometimes, or McKnight sometimes at a linebacker spot. It does not make it easy. That's a full house. Backfield. Being chased, being held, and then being dropped. It was Rendesi that got to him that time. Slowed up initially, and then Rendesi finally finished off the quarterback.
Got some help from Damani White as well. They had him cornered, and they reeled him in.
Damani White slowed him up, kind of had him by the jersey. And then Rendesi from his linebacker spot able to finish him off. So negative yards once again. Moving it back inside the 15-yard line to the 14. Have to get to the 29-yard line to pick up a first down. 3rd down and long. Every quarterback's dream right here, right? You've just been sacked. Now you got to throw it long. Throwing on the run underneath. Not much there. In fact, not even to the original line of scrimmage.
Boy, good job by the Baylor defense that time, snuffing that out. And they have just annihilated that Knox Catholic offensive line on this possession.
When you get pressure with 3 or sometimes 4, when you can do that consistently, and I understand each team has only had 2 possessions.
Jaden Neal, nowhere to go with the football, Jim. And under pressure, that check down was all he had.
So the Irish will punt, standing on his own 5-yard line. Nice high kick. That's pretty. Fair catch called for and made.
Again, that's
a
Grady.
Bump right there.
Boy, that's Grady Joyner. I tell you what, when you've got to move the guy to catch the football, I don't think that's a fair catch, but
I think it's an unfair catch.
They're there on the field. They did not make the call, so Baylor starts in great field position.
Yeah, at their own 49-yard line. Baylor 2 for 2 so far tonight. 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns.
And again, you're at home against a team that maybe has a little bit of a hangover after that near miss against McCauley, and they have just brought the wood here in the first quarter.
They show blitz. Mills Knight picks up a hard-fought yard to midfield.
They brought Connor Ruth on a run blitz that time, and Shakai Mills Knight got around him, got 1 yard on a play that looked like it was going to be blown up.
Yeah, Bryson Gardner from the other linebacker, the inside linebacker, getting to Mills Knight right in midfield for a gain of 1 on first down. 14-0 lead for the Red Raiders, possession number 3 of the night. 4-man front. Way up the gut again, Mills Knight with running room. But again, we talked about how good the corners and defensive backs are for the Fighting Irish. And so what do the Red Raiders do? They use their offensive line, go in tempo right here. And Mills Knight runs into one, breaks a tackle's got the first down inside the 40.
The best thing about those 2 runs, the spin moves everybody loves, 2 hands on the football is even better.
So down to the 37, going quickly right now. Play action. Near side, coming back. I think he got, yes, that's a catch. Got the hands underneath, and you know what? That's the 3rd nice catch of the night for Rastelli.
The deuce is loose
yes,
tonight.
Yes, he is.
Zane Rastelli.
I will see his brother Dalton tomorrow. Plays for the Mocs. 2 receivers right and Amari Jefferson left. So Baylor had been going ultra fast, now slowing things down. Play action again. Muschamp over the middle. Got it over the linebacker, maybe more accurately, will be through the linebacker's arms that time.
Gavin Jones drew a beat on it, just could not reel it in.
Yeah, a little bit too slow. Yeah, it was a fastball. And he had a pretty short window, pretty closed window that time. Tried to get it over the linebacker and then in front of the safeties and DBs. Got it there, but just too much heat on it. Third down, short. Mills Knight. You know what? That's so smart. He could have gone wide. He said, I know where the stick is. And the stick is right at the 27-yard line. Dives forward, picks up the first down at the 25. Baylor in the second half of that state championship soccer game. Now with a 3-0 lead over Harpeth Hall. Play action again. Muschamp, end zone, or middle of the field. I thought he had Amari Jefferson open on the far side. Instead, he goes middle of the field to Max LeBlanc, which is not a bad option either.
When it's middle, it's usually number 11, Max LeBlanc. A beautiful pocket sculpted that time by those guys, that Baylor offensive line.
Going quickly, but this will happen in the second quarter. Baylor for the third time tonight, trying to put points on the board. Third possession, successful in the first two. And it's a 14-0 lead for the Red Raiders. So a fairly quicker moving first quarter than I would have predicted. And I would say because of Shakai Mills Knight. I thought that Baylor would be throwing it a lot tonight, and they have to some degree, but Mr. Mills Knight's gotten a little bit of a workout as well.
They've thrown when they've wanted to, and they have run when they've wanted to.
$14-0 lead at the end of the first quarter. Baylor scored on their first possession. I think the prettiest pass of the year for Whit Muschamp. Muschamp to Sparks, 36 yards. Baylor goes 68 yards. 3 plays, 2 minutes and 1 second, scoring at the 10:59 mark, taking a 7-0 lead, and then went the ground route. The next possession, Mills Knight, 3-yard touchdown run. Red Raiders overcome 4 penalties on a drive. Think about that. They go 57 yards, 9 plays, 4 minutes and 13 seconds. Mills Knight with a 3-yard touchdown run, making it 14-0 Red Raiders, and that's where we are right now as
Jim,
we move into quarter number 2.
Jim, we talked about execution and momentum. And so far, because of the way Baylor has executed, they have momentum.
On the 5-yard line. First and goal, 5-yard line. Moving the tight ends left side to right side. So overloading the right side, and Mills Knight goes that way. Sees an opening, cuts it upfield, doesn't quite get to the goal line, but down to the 1. So second and goal from the 1-yard line. And Mills Knight again, a little bit easier that time. I don't think anyone laid a glove on him. Mills Knight in the end zone. His second touchdown of the night. And for the Red Raiders, it's touchdown number 3 of the evening. 20-0 lead with almost automatic Cooper Cowan checking in for the extra point.
Jim, you look at the skill players on this Baylor team and you think this is almost a run and shoot up and down the field. But honestly, they have done their job tonight behind that offensive line and Shakai Mills Knight, which bodes well for the playoffs. Defense in the running game, always travel.
I would go defense, running game, special teams.
True.
If you're built for November, that's what Eric Kimry says. We're built for November. You've got a weapon in number 95, Cooper Cowan, who I think gives Baylor an edge in most games because they're not going to all be easy. Maybe early in the playoffs, sometimes you get an easy game. Look at that. No one did touch
that
her.
is easy. And he talks about being built for November. I agree. They've been pretty good in October, too.
Mills Knight, 1-yard run. So the Red Raiders, remember, they got the good punt. Only had to go 51 yards. 9 plays. Two minutes and 48 seconds. 2:48. Sometimes I have to get my time calculator out.
How many plays?
I had 9.
Wow.
So remember, they're at the 49, they're at the 50. Got a first down, 29, 25, then down to the 5. Then 2 pops inside the 5-yard line. Mills
So, Jim,
Knight got to the 1. Then
they've run 21 plays so far in this game, and they have 21 points.
That is efficient. Sounds like a stat of basketball coach. Points per possession. It's good. Taking it out of the end zone. To the 20, to the 25. Wow. And Rendesi said, let's dance.
That's Jalen Harmon, who they are so big on, especially in the return game. They told me if they kick to Jalen Harmon twice, he'll take one of them back. So that was one.
I just didn't tell Rendesi, who's had a good night.
He really has.
We've mentioned his name a lot already.
He's been very active.
Yes.
They brought him closer to that defensive line, and it's been a nice adjustment.
Absolutely. Starting from the 27. See, this is what I think Knox Catholic has to do.
Man, I agree there. A nice, quick timing pass. That's Tyron Brabson with the catch there. That's a pass Jaden Neal, you can tell he's very comfortable with. They have run that play all season long.
But he gets 5 yards on first down. Now you can do some things. Got 2 downs to get 5 more yards. Again, he looked comfortable. He's got a good arm. They got good skill players. Knox Catholic does. They're getting ready to make a long trip in the opening round of the playoffs. They have Briarcrest in round number 1. So going from Knoxville to Memphis next Friday. Little end around action. Nice trip up from behind. Got the hand down.
That's Tyreek King, Jim, somebody they're really big on. Again, one of those skill players they are so excited about. Number 7, 5'11", 180, just a sophomore.
Pretty good job by Joyner. Had Joyner not got him, this would have gone for at least, 6 or 7 or 8 more yards. Joyner just kind of tripped him up by the ankle.
Jim, I think that's the first down of the night for the Fighting Irish, and we're here in the second quarter. A much-needed first down.
See, Knox Catholic, they do indeed have some bulk on that offensive line. Baylor goes 3-man front. Let's see if they get pressure with 3. 3 receivers left for the Irish. 1 right. There is that pressure and down.
Oh, my gosh.
Boy, you got to feel that coming.
Well, number 73, Jacob Rice, 6'3", 250, a sophomore. John Amofa Jr. is a straight true freshman, and he ate him up alive on that play.
He can't be a freshman.
That's pretty stout.
Let's say he doesn't play like a freshman and hasn't all year long.
No.
That's his 7th sack of the season.
Tell you what, if you're Jacob Rice, you got to be going, hey, I need some help with 48. We got to have a chip or something.
When you got a nose tackle with 7 sacks, usually those come from the edge.
Well, and tonight they've moved him to the edge, and they moved him all over the place, which is a glimpse of something you're probably going to see in 2 weeks.
That gang tackle.
Again, Jim, that quick game, that quick passing game, it looks like Jaden Neal is very comfortable in those types of play calls.
Nice completion. Jenkins draws a crowd.
Now they move.
3rd down, about 2.
They move John Amofa to the top of your screen, number 48, so that he's been on the right side. Now he's on the left side. He has wreaked havoc wherever he's been tonight.
Yeah, they haven't found a spot where he's not been effective. I'll put it that way.
It's been a hot knife through butter.
3rd and 2 for the Irish. Throwing for it with time underneath. That's a first down. And tripped up. No, did not get the first down.
Well executed play that time. Boy, they waited. He just waited for number 34, Cole Scraggs, to release. He did.
I saw him get across the stick, but it was the
Decent
backside
gain,
of the stick.
Right. That sack. Now you got 4th down and 5.
On your own 43.
You don't get this one.
Yeah,
This could be a long first half.
Yes. It's already 21-0. Clock running with 7:14 to play in the first half.
Connor Ruth checks in. Number 1.
They like him too. He is talented. A lot of players for the Irish play both ways. Not so with Baylor.
True.
Yeah, clock just running down, and they weren't sure on the play, and you got a 4th down. You might want to rethink that. And
Boy, in this situation, indecision leads to demolition. So it's good that they use the timeout.
You know, in a situation like that, 4th down, I think those coaches are going through the same thing where do we really, if we're not successful, it's not 4th down and 2.
It's 4th and 5.
It's 4th and a good 5.
Sometimes you've just got to lean on your punter to get you out of trouble and your defense to contain this Baylor offense, despite what's happened so far tonight.
Yeah, I'd be one of those. I'd be kicking. I'd be kicking and live to fight another day.
Absolutely.
I'll put it that way. If I don't get a first down, I get Baylor a short field and they go up 28-0.
You haven't stopped them all night.
So if I haven't stopped them all night, I'm going to say, you know what? I haven't had much success from 43 yards. I'm going to at least make you go 80.
I don't think.
Yeah, I think they're
going to load them up and go here.
I've seen quarterbacks punt before too now. Let's see. Nope, gone for it. Near side, complete.
Short.
Underneath.
Did not know where he was on the field. Missed the sticks. Goodness gracious. That's Tyreek King. He had to come back to the football gym. It was underthrown and low. His knee hit the ground, so the ball goes over on downs.
Makes the catch. It makes a nice catch, but you're right. The sticks are on the far side of the field. So
you've got to cross the sticks.
Yeah.
But Jaden Neal's got to put enough on that football to push him past the sticks.
So here's that short field we talk about. 6:50 to play in the second quarter. Red Raiders begin on the 46-yard line. Mills Knight, a workhorse so far tonight, picks up maybe 1.5 yards, 2 yards on first down. So they start on the 46. Give Shakai Mills Knight 1 hard-fought yard on that first down play. I don't mind feeding him, though. Sooner or later, you just think he's going to bust one.
He's going to get loose.
Well, he's only got 2 touchdowns so far tonight. Near side, Jefferson. Side steps. Did he step out of bounds? No. Did he cut it back in? Yes. Is he in the end zone? Absolutely.
Wow. Vintage Amari Jefferson there.
Craig and I were talking before he came on the air. He is unbelievable. He has just gotten better and better. And that's one of those things, if he didn't step out of bounds right when he first caught it, and there was no hat thrown or anything like that.
Nope.
Once he busted into the open, guess who has a chance to catch him?
I mean, and boy, a quick pass. That's another great read by Whit Muschamp. They had the perfect play called. They go to number 7, and as usual, he delivers. It can't be this easy, Jim.
And Jefferson, there ain't many players smoother than him.
I'm telling you.
He makes it look easy. I will say that. That's not supposed to be that fair. Watch this. So the only chance was, did he step out of bounds there? And the answer is no.
Boy, and Muschamp knew right where he was going with the football the minute that ball was snapped. Jefferson found the little hole in that zone defense, and he took it to the house. The folks in Tuscaloosa are going to like watching number 7 next year.
They've seen some good receivers, I believe.
They have. They've
down
had
through
a couple.
the years.
Yes.
$28-0. I don't believe Eric Kimry believes in that cruise control. You ever seen him drive? He must drive with his foot on the gas pedal all the time.
Man.
So we talked about the short field, and Baylor able to take advantage. Just going 46 yards.
2 plays. Am I right on that?
2 plays in 36, count them, 36 seconds. On the return, boom.
Jim, we talked about what does this game mean for these two teams. Knox Catholic has decided to sit 5 of their starters in the hopes of getting healthier for the postseason.
Well, you know, I don't know what the right answer is, and all.
I don't either.
And for both,
I don't know if there's a wrong answer.
No, for both these teams, this game means nothing. Their playoff spots are all set, both of them. Baylor's number 2 in the East. Knox Catholic, I think number 5 in the East, and they're going to take on Briarcrest. That is already in stone. With the one caveat, and we mentioned this early on if you're just joining us, the TSSAA has declared Lipscomb ineligible for the playoffs this year and next year. So now, according to the TSSAA, Lipscomb being ineligible this year with the playoffs set to begin next week, that will affect 3 different games. So again, you know, would Lipscomb just forfeit their opening round playoff game, or would you restack the deck, or what would you do? And the TSSAA is going to decide that and hear the appeal from Lipscomb.
Right.
So if the appeal's denied, some of those games, and again, if you know anything about the TSSAA, they're pretty hard and fast, saying the games are going to begin next Friday. Baylor has a bye week, so does McCallie. There's 5 byes in the opening round, but I think there'll have to be a 6th now for the opening round.
Nice completion that time to Tyree King. The Irish now have 3rd and 2 from the 30.
And Knox Catholic is set as a 5 seed. They'll take on Briarcrest, a 4 seed, in Memphis next week. Near side, giving some ground once again. Look at those moves.
Tyree King. That's why they're so big on him. He got that ball in stride and did some damage afterwards.
You get to see a look at him after his helmet comes off.
Check out for a play.
And the Irish able to convert. So we talked about this beforehand, and you know, do you rest players? Do you play them part of the game? Like I said, you get a key player hurt in the 4th quarter.
Right.
Everyone says, why were you playing him? It means nothing. So yeah, all the scenarios come into play, and I guarantee you, in those coaches' meetings, both on the Red Raider campus and on the Knox Catholic campus, they talked about that among the coaching staffs for a long, long time.
Wow.
Hit in the backfield. Great penetration again.
And let's credit number 4, Joel Lowenberg.
What a great season he's had.
Yes, his first tackle of the night.
For negative yards. A TFL, as they say, tackle for loss.
You can see Baylor's put some new faces in on defense. It's a tough job for a coach. You need to get everybody work. You need to maintain your level of execution and not lose the momentum that you've built all season long. At the same time, keep everybody healthy. Almost impossible to do.
It's a fine line, and Many coaches on many levels have not done so correctly, if there is a correct. Sometimes it's good old-fashioned luck, I think. Middle screen.
Goodness.
But right in the teeth of that defense.
Baylor had that snuffed out. They were right, he threw that right into the teeth of that defense. Another nice call by defensive coordinator Chris Brown.
It's funny, sometimes when I talk to Eric Kimmery, I said, what about this? Or sending linebackers, he goes, Chris does all that. Chris does all that. He goes, I don't even worry about it. You know why? I don't have to worry about it.
Right.
He trusts Chris Brown, the Red Raiders defensive coordinator.
Chris, the former head coach at Red Bank, and has come over here and done a fantastic job with this Baylor defense. Third and a bunch, Jim. 14. Third and 14.
A lot of plays right here for Jaden Neal. Neal from the gun on 3rd and long. So you're going to have some sort of slow developing play so receivers can get 14 yards plus down the field. And this is what happens. Middle screen again, and they have it snuffed out again. That's film work right there.
Ben Darnell playing on defense, and what a solid job. He and a host of other folks. Quincy White, that time. Excuse me, Damani White.
Final? Is it a final now?
Yes, final. 3-0.
So Baylor soccer team has won the state championship. 3-0 the final score over Harpworth Hall. Right down the road at the home of the Red Wolves. Claiming the victory. So we wondered, the plan was to get the soccer team back here and get a little ovation and hold up that big. Yeah. 2:04 left to play in the first half. And it is a 28-0 lead. I'll go over my mercy rule speech in the second half, I guess, at some point.
That would be, if that happens.
Yes.
That would be 3 in a row, Jim.
Yeah.
We have never done 3 of those in a row.
Baylor was going to go with 10 players right there, just as a part of the mercy rule, I guess.
Grady Joyner makes the brave fair catch. George Mancini on the tackle.
Wow. I thought that fair catch was called for. It was not.
Yeah.
Grady Joyner.
Scary.
Held on to the football there. Great coverage by the Irish.
Less than 2 minutes to play in the first half. And 157 to play in the half. Baylor takes over on the 32. 1st and 10. Successful in their first 4 possessions. Muschamp goes long, has a receiver. Over the shoulder and a grab at the 30-yard line.
The Amari Jefferson show continues. That's a new one. Over the shoulder by the far boundary. Goodness gracious.
I keep searching. This is game number 10. I'm searching for a weakness, okay? I'm trying to find a weakness in Amari Jefferson's game. But apparently it's not over the shoulder, right?
No, he made that look easy. That was not as easy as he made it look.
That's the title of his autobiography, I think.
Oh, Shakai wanted to cut that up
yes, he did.
And take it to the house. Just couldn't quite pull it off.
Ran out of room.
Bryson Gardner with the tackle that maybe prevented the touchdown.
So bring it inside the 25 to about the 23-yard line. Gain of about 8 yards on that first down play. Try it again. He gets the first down and more to the far side, inside the 20 to about the 16, maybe the 17-yard line for another first down. So congratulations to the Red Raiders soccer program claiming a state championship. They move both those tight ends to the left side. Usually they go that way. Muschamp on the run. Nice throw. Almost picked. Threw it on the run that time. Kind of threw it high, kind of had a high release point, but still had some mustard on it, even though he was rolling out near side. Maybe a little bit fortunate that that one ended up on the ground instead of somewhere else.
.58 seconds left here in the first half.
I'm just looking at a close-up on that Baylor offensive line. They're not small people. Mills Knight goes wide on the far side. You know, Shakai Mills Knight is not a small person either.
No.
He is
well
6'2",
over 6
210.
feet, yeah.
6'2", 210 as a freshman.
And if, boy, you just imagine 20 more pounds on that frame.
Third down.
At the next level.
And he's a freshman now. So Red Raiders call a timeout with 53 seconds to play in the first half. Baylor scored 14 in the first quarter, 14 more in the second quarter. Scored on the first possession of the game, Muschamp to Sparks, 36 yards. Mills Knight, 3-yard run, 14-0. Mills Knight, 1-yard run, 21-0. And Muschamp to Amari Jefferson on the last touchdown. And the 2 touchdown tosses have been pretty darn impressive, I'll just say. Last one was 45 yards.
This situation here, another great bit of execution / learning tape for the postseason. 53 seconds left, 3rd and 6. Can you punch it in here?
I think you have 2 downs to get the first down, I'd say that.
And you have to feel like 3 points
Doesn't
is
mean
as
anything.
close to being automatic as you can get with Cooper Count as your kicker.
I think you're going to punch it here twice. I don't think Mr. Cowan sees the field, but you know what? I've been wrong a good percentage of the time. You know what?
Pick your poison.
It doesn't matter.
He had Shakai Mills Knight wide open in the flat. He goes to LeBlanc again over the middle for the touchdown. 13 yards.
Share the wealth night, isn't it?
Yes.
So Sparks has 1, Mills Knight has 2, Jefferson has 1, and welcome to the scoring column, Max LeBlanc, with 47 seconds to play in the half.
And I didn't see 35-0 coming, no matter what the situation is for either one of these teams.
5 for 5 for Baylor, 5 possessions, 5 touchdowns. Muschamp has thrown for 3. I'll say this, he's thrown for 3. Jefferson's caught 1, Sparks has caught 1, LeBlanc has caught 1, and Rastelli has made the best catches of the night.
Yes. Although the over-the-shoulder by Amari was outstanding on the far sideline.
Yeah, the degree of difficulty on that one. I think the German judge scored that low, but I'm throwing out that score anyway. Yeah, the over-the-shoulder, that wins the all-around so far tonight.
Yes.
So 68 yards, 6 plays. Took possession with 1:57 to play in the half and used 70 seconds, 47 seconds left to play.
Here you go. The touchdown to Amari Jefferson stays in bounds, and that cut right there, boy, just produced an easy touchdown. They had a short kick last time, placed well, almost recovered by Baylor. Let's see what number 95 does on this one. Had a long talk with the coaching staff there. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah, kicked it short by design. So return from about the 3 or 4 yard line. Little contact across the 25.
Jalen Harmon again, dangerous as a returner. They made him move to his left, Jim, and covered that kick well.
So the Fighting Irish take over with 38 seconds to play in the first half. And Baylor with a 35-0 lead. Mercy rule is 30 points or more in the second half. That's when you'd have a running clock, which we've been spoiled with the last couple of weeks.
Yes, third week in a row here.
I got places to go, so that's not going to break my head.
You definitely do. You
That's
have a
not gonna
long
break my
drive
heart.
ahead of you.
Boy, just trying to run out the clock, you feel, running into the teeth of that defensive line.
Once again, John Amofa Jr.
He's been everywhere tonight.
And Quincy White on senior night.
John Amofa Jr.
There's nothing junior about 48.
Final play of the half. The Irish aren't going to snap it again. Headed to the locker room. Boys, that was an impressive first half.
Yes.
Give me an area where Baylor did not dominate. And I mean dominate.
I can't find one.
Both sides of the football.
Admittedly, Knox Catholic less than a fully loaded gun, but you've got to like the execution that Baylor has shown you.
5 possessions, 5 touchdowns, 14 points in the first quarter, 21 in the second quarter. The Baylor Red Raiders with a 35-0 lead, looking for their 8th win of the regular season, trying to win their 6th straight game at home. Lost the home opener. Seemed like a long time ago, August 18th, Rabun Gap. Since that time at home, have beaten Seton Hall Prep in Dublin. Then at home, Stepanek out of New York, a victory. Lipscomb, a victory on the 8th. Brentwood Academy at home, a win. Life Christian Academy 3 weeks ago. Montgomery Bell Academy last week, and they've got the Irish on the ropes, at least at
Jim,
halftime.
at the far right of your screen, you see a limping number 2, Zane Merstelli. I doubt we see him again in the second half.
And remember, Baylor does not have a game next week. They will receive a first-round bye as the number 2 seeded team in the East. So a first-round bye for the Red Raiders next week, and a home game, which you will be able to see right here 2 weeks from tonight. So Baylor's first possession, Muschamp to Sparks, 36 yards. Baylor had the football for just over 2 minutes and took a 7-0 lead. Next possession, Mills Knight, 3-yard touchdown run, 14-0. Next possession, Mills Knight with a 1-yard touchdown run, 21-0. Muschamp to Jefferson, 45 yards, 28-0. Muschamp to LeBlanc.
Now we would like to honor
Last
the
time,
cheerleaders in the
last
training
possession
staff
for the
who will also
touchdown,
be graduating this
35-0
year, and whose
at halftime.
contributions to the program
Now the Baylor
are
senior
also deeply
cheerleaders
appreciated.
being honored
We will
here
start
at
with the
halftime.
cheerleaders in alphabetical order, beginning with Riley Barford. Riley is a 2-year day student from Chattanooga, Tennessee. She is escorted tonight by her parents, Andrea Hayduck and Adam Barford. Riley Barford. Next is Elizabeth Bruce. Elizabeth is a 7-year day student from Chattanooga, Tennessee. She is escorted tonight by her parents, Jeremy and Julie Bruce. Elizabeth Bruce. Next up is Caroline Clyett. Caroline is a 7-year day student from Cleveland, Tennessee. She is escorted tonight by her parents, Adam and Robin Hunsucker. Caroline Clyett. Next is Reagan Edwards. Reagan is a 7-year day student from Chattanooga, Tennessee. She is escorted tonight by her mother, Jill Haas, father Lee Edwards, stepmother Carrie Edwards, and stepfather Bill Haas. Reagan Edwards. Next up is Hannah Hardy. Hannah is a 7-year day student from Soddy Daisy, Tennessee. She is escorted tonight by her parents, Kristen and Tom Hardy. Hannah Hardy. Next is Maya Houston. Maya is a 4-year day student from Chattanooga, Tennessee. She is escorted tonight by her parents, Bradley and Brianna Houston. Maya Houston. Next is Talia Jones. Talia is a 7-year day student from Chattanooga, Tennessee. She is escorted tonight by her parents, Charles and Chrissy Joles. Talia Joles. Abby Murchison. Abby is a 7-year day student from Signal Mountain, Tennessee. She is escorted tonight by her parents, Blake and Katie Murchison. Abby Murchison. Virginia Ann Polk. Virginia Ann is a 4-year boarding student from McLean, Virginia. She is escorted tonight by her parents, Greg and Ann Polk. Virginia Ann Polk. Next is Reese Talley. Reese is a 7-year day student from Chattanooga, Tennessee. She is escorted tonight by her parents, Roger and Missy Talley. Reese Talley. And finally, we have one senior member of the training staff, Wiki Berry. Wiki is a 3-year boarding student from Augusta, Georgia. She is escorted tonight by her parents, Shell and Reed Berry. Wiki Berry. Let's recognize all of these fine seniors and their parents for their much appreciated support of the Baylor football program. Well, that didn't match up very well with what I was saying, I must say. It's their job to follow me, I think. Because I'm reading a script.
That's all I can do. Man, that soccer team was so dominant all year. I mean, they only lost that one game to Bearden, and they're like another top team in the nation.
They are.
Do you know what it is about Tennessee that has so many great girls soccer teams?
Everybody have a moment of silence. Richard Cole passed away.
You know, it's funny. They have good soccer teams and good basketball teams.
Oh, like they're making quiet.
But other than Chattanooga, the softball teams suck.
That's interesting. Do you do basketball games too?
Yeah.
So my old school I came from, scrimmage with Baylor next weekend.
Oh.
At home here. I don't know if it'll be very official business.
I think it'll be pretty unofficial. Yeah. They haven't told me.
Okay, we've got some people doing some.
One of the starters on
We've
the
got
team is
people doing thriller
old
dances.
NYC of mine when he was in 6th grade. They got crowned homecoming king last week, and I texted him. And he's like, starting to trash talk. He's like, we're gonna kill you guys in basketball.
Well, they might have a pretty good chance because several of our better players are football players.
Well, that's the same story for them too. So.
They'll be back in a while. Richard Mull just passed away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who?
Richard Mull. I was a big fan of night court. He was in it. Like,
Oh, yeah. How old?
80, believe it or not. 85.
Been a lot of these are some out of town parents for upper school boarding day or parents' day.
Huh? Yeah, this one's mine. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Test. Test, test. Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Couple of moments away from the start of the second half here at Haywood Stadium at Baylor School in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Jim Reynolds and Craig Cecil. And final game, final half coming up of the regular season, then on to the postseason. So we will be in mercy rule starting the second half. And that means, and they changed it just a couple of years ago, it used to be 35 points. Now it is 30 points. So if there's a 30-point margin, 30-point deficit, that means the clock will continue to run unless there's a timeout or unless there's an injury. So if the ball goes out of bounds, clock continues to run. Incomplete pass, clock continues to run. So when it's 30 points or more and we're at 35-0 at halftime, Knox Catholic will get the football first, so the clock will continue to run. The only time it'll stop, timeout, injury, or the end of the third quarter. And I have a hunch you better get the rosters out because we may see
a lot of folks we haven't seen before.
Yes, some folks a little deeper in the depth chart. But as you pointed out, this has been rare. This will be the third straight home game, third straight week that Baylor will be in a mercy rule situation. Started the mercy rule in the second quarter against Life Christian Academy and ended up winning that game 49-10. And last week, it was a 35-0 win over NBA. But they had the majority of those points, all of them, in the first half. So we had a running clock in the second half of that game, and that's the scenario we'll be in tonight when half number 2 gets underway. The Baylor Letterman. Although if you have the exclamation point, are you still...
I think that's more than just a letter.
Oh, okay. So that's
and that was really cool. It was almost like a lightning bolt, which I like.
You take a look at what Baylor's done. There are only 2 losses. That opening loss of the season, which my guess would be if they played Rabun Gap again now, I don't think it'd be close.
2 different football teams.
But they lost that game 35-24 in the opening game of the season. And maybe we'll have a chance to see Baylor and McCallie play again. The only way that could occur would be at Finley Stadium, playing for that big trophy.
Both those games decided by special teams miscues, Rabun Gap, an onside kick in the second half, and McCallie, the game Baylor led until late in that game, and then bad execution on a punt, a fumble that led to McCallie pushing across the winning touchdown. I think the city of Chattanooga is waiting for one more Hearns-Hagler matchup, or Ali Frazier, whatever you want to call it.
Or one more Rolling Stones victory tour.
Victory tour.
Final tour. Yeah, if it was Baylor and McCallie at Finley Stadium, that would be fun.
That would be something. But there's a long road to go before that.
Yes.
Can happen.
Baylor has a first-round bye, that is for sure, next week. Their opponent, and again, they may reshuffle that deck with the suspension of Lipscomb, so their opponent for their game, which will be 2 weeks from tonight here, and the kickoff in 2 weeks for the playoffs, the kickoff is at 7 o'clock. Now, they may have to play some games on Saturday because of that Lipscomb situation. Saw the ball go into the end zone, so Knox Catholic, who won the toss, or did Baylor win the toss and took the football?
Baylor won, they took the football, so the Irish will start here in the second half. Defensively, you see big John Amofa Jr., Damani White. So Quincy White, you see a lot of the same, you see starters there for Baylor defensively.
The question is, how many series will you see starters? But at least on the first one, which makes sense. That's what most coaches do. And again, with a running clock, it may be 1 possession, maybe 2, I would say, in the second half.
Irish have made an adjustment at quarterback. They have the freshman Tyson Sutton, number 14, 5'9", 150 freshman in at quarterback for the Irish.
You don't think he was trying to see if the starters were going to come back in for Baylor defensively?
Well, if you're Knox Catholic, you cannot lose Jaden Neal. I mean, number 8, you got to have him.
Yeah, you got to have Tyreek King. You've got to have
Yes.
Connor Ruth. There's.
But the trigger
Yes.
is number 8.
Again, clock continues to run. So even though that was an incomplete pass, because of the mercy rule, because there's a 30-point or more deficit, and it's 35-0, we are in the mercy rule, which kicks in the second half. So 2nd and 10. Well, you talk about a quarterback.
Yikes.
Getting the baptism under fire. That was Scraggs, Cole Scraggs, another freshman. They're getting a rude education, I would say, right
And
now.
Number 33, Bilent Rendesi on senior night. His motor is running.
He's made a couple special teams
Really
plays
has.
already. Open field tackles. He's played awfully well. From Hungary. And I think he is.
And he is.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
You beat me to the punch. Yes.
You know, that softball was there. I was going to take the big hack
It was
first.
on the tee. Yes.
Rolling out near side, throwing it on the run, and incomplete. So a 1, 2, 3 and out for the Irish on possession number 1 of the second half. I would guess we would see Whit Muschamp and company for,
You think?
I would say one more series, but we'll see. Not necessarily. And again, with a running clock, makes a little bit of a difference. So we're already 3 minutes gone in this second half. 35-0. Baylor's had 5 possessions and 5 touchdowns. And the Irish withheld, 5 starters tonight, as it turns out?
Yes.
Because they know that this game right here, both these teams already have their seeding set. Nothing, win or lose either way, can benefit or affect them negatively. So we're kind of playing out the string, if you will. The Irish know they're a 4 seed in the East and will play at Briarcrest next week.
And that football took a Baylor bounce. They're going to start in great shape at their own 41.
It's a good place to be. And it is, you are correct, sir. Briggs Cherry, the 6'4", 200-pound sophomore, will start the second half for the Red Raiders. I'll put 8 minutes start of this time of possession, but again with a moving clock, and Baylor beginning on the Irish 41-yard line. And it's Cody Davenport standing next to him on 1st down and 10 at the 41. Davenport breaks a tackle, then brought down around the 38-yard line, 3 or 4 yard pickup on 1st down for the Red Raiders. Cody Davenport started the year, as you know, as the, I'll say, feature back, starting back, and then Shakai Mills Knight, as the season went on, they said he had a little bit of an ankle sprain problem to start the season. As Mills Knight established himself more and more and got healthier and healthier and showed why he was getting the majority of the carries. But Cody Davenport handling the football, not a bad option number 2. Briggs Cherry, 6'4", 200 pounds. He's doing 27 passes so far this year. He's gotten some mop-up duty on occasion.
Connor Ruth that time with a physical tackle for the Irish.
Yeah, he's one of those, when you talk about the Fighting Irish, you say, yeah, they've got some talent. He's definitely one of those talented guys. So 3rd and 9 after a loss of 3.
I think, Jim, the running clock here in the second half makes a lot of decisions more obvious for both of these coaching staffs.
We are right now midway through the 3rd quarter. Pass complete to Darnell for a 1st down.
I'll tell you what, Ben Darnell has had a solid season. They use him in the block so many times as offensive weapons blocking wise. Good to see number 19 get his hands on the football there.
And pick up the first down. Yeah, got just enough. Got what he needed. Got to the 28-yard line for Baylor first down with 5.5 minutes to play in the third quarter. Ben Darnell, very underrated, 6'4", 245 junior. But again, when you have an Ohio State signee as the number one guy, that's been known to happen. 2 receivers left, 1 right, 1st and 10. And again, no one in any hurry to take a snap, letting time go off the clock. Now about 5 seconds on that play clock. Davenport gets the call, breaks 1 tackle. He goes wide. There's a clear path. Look at that.
Boom.
28-yard touchdown run for Cody Davenport.
And Jim did a lot of that on his own. Nice vision, a couple of fantastic cuts in the open field.
Once he got to the outside, you knew what? It was over. Cody Davenport with a 28-yard touchdown run, and the Red Raiders remain perfect. Now 6 possessions and 6 touchdowns. I'm just going to put 5 minutes, put it at the 5-minute mark of the third quarter, and just say that's good enough for government work, right? 28-yard touchdown run by Cody Davenport. And the Red Raiders remain perfect, celebrating the touchdown. Final game of the regular season. And yes, Baylor with a first round bye in the playoffs. So playoff activity gets underway next Friday night. Baylor with a first round bye, so they'll be in action 2 weeks from tonight. And it will be a home game, and it'll kick off at 7. Normally Baylor games begin at 7:30. When you get into the playoffs,
here's Cody. This cut right here,
yes,
is what sprung him. Great play call against that Knox Catholic defense, and number 24 finds his way into the end zone.
When he got past number 10, the linebacker Grayson Goodale, it was over. When he took that jump step, that jump cut outside, that's when he had a clear path after that. Now the clock is stopped right now, and I know not why. Into the end zone again. So 1st and 10 for the Fighting Irish. Notre Dame played really well last week. Notre Dame lost their game to Macaulay 31-27 last week. Lost to Lipscomb the week before that, 33-10. Something we brought up many times tonight is that Lipscomb heard from the TSSAA that tonight's game, Lipscomb plays Macaulay tonight. That's the end of the season for Lipscomb because of TSSAA violations. Banned from the playoffs this year and next. They will appeal, and that appeal will occur in the next couple days. So we'll see what happens on the appeal, but if that appeal is denied, Lipscomb is done for the year and done for the postseason next year as well.
Just a devastating blow to Kevin Mawai, and his first year as head coach ends abruptly.
Now, last time I saw that Lipscomb and Baylor were tied. So all of a sudden, this is their Super Bowl, right?
It is, yes.
And they have a chance to knock off the number 1 team in the state in the Blue Tornado. And if, just by the way, if Macaulay does lose and Baylor does win, the seedings don't change. The seedings in the East, aside from that Lipscomb scenario now, those are set. And were set for everyone entering play tonight. In fact, became set last night when NBA beat Brentwood. So there was a possibility things could change had Brentwood won and had Lipscomb won. But since that's now impossible because Brentwood did not win last night, those seedings became in stone last night as soon as that game got to zeros. 2:20 left to play third quarter. and it's third down. In the mercy rule, that's why the clock continues to run. And again, that mercy rule is a 30-point deficit. And now it's 42-0. Throwing it on the run. Nice throw and catch. Nice spin. Ouch.
Tyron Brabson with the catch that time. In traffic, took a couple of shots and holds on to the football.
Okay, in the last 3 weeks, so Life Christian Academy, MBA in the game tonight, Baylor's outscored their opponents 126 to 10. 126 to 10.
And made it look made it look entirely too easy to get there.
Yeah, not as many sweat beads as you would have thought. So 49 to 10 2 weeks ago, 35-0 last week, 42-0 so far tonight. 126 to 10. Finishing strong, you would say?
I would say so.
Hit in the backfield and drop for a loss. As there's less than a minute to play in the third quarter. Only scoring in quarter 3, well, the only scoring in quarters 1, 2, and 3 has been by the Red Raiders. 14 points in the first quarter, 21 in the second quarter, and a single touchdown here in the third. And I would say the Irish will not be upset to leave Hamilton County and head back to Knoxville. And then get ready for their opening round playoff game. They got to go to Memphis next week, taking on Briarcrest.
Oh, Briarcrest? Okay.
Briarcrest in the opening round. It's a long road, boys and girls.
Uh-oh, trouble here.
And just falling on it and losing yards. Sutton, the quarterback, after Jaden Neal.
And that brings a close to the third quarter.
42-0. So the fourth quarter will get underway with the Red Raiders, like I said, perfect, and going for their 8th win of the season.
And as we see every home game, after the third quarter, it is the Baylor Light Show.
Ah, a little different twist
right
right there.
Rainbow look.
I like it. You don't see this show on the high school level very often, I'm just telling you.
Yep, you're right.
$42-0. Muschamp to Cam Sparks in the first possession of the game, 7-0. Mills Knight, 3-yard run. Mills Knight, 1-yard run. Muschamp to Jefferson, 45 yards. Made it 28-0. Muschamp to LeBlanc, 13 yards. Made it 35-0. And Cody Davenport, a 28-yard run. Throwing it with as much as you can.
And I think the light show for the girls' state championship soccer team.
3-0 the final score. Yeah, get on that. That's the TSSAA state champion Baylor soccer team with a 3-0 win over Harpeth Hall. Final game at the home of the Red Wolves in East Ridge, just down the road. It's nice when you can win and then get an ovation that same day. So we'll get the clock rolling, which it is once again. So in the fourth quarter now, with a running clock on the mercy rule. Have to get to the 41-yard line. Look at that. You go long, I'll throw it with everything I got.
Not a bad pass.
No. I think that truly was the absolute end of his distance, don't you think? Throw it with everything you got.
That was max effort.
Throw it as far as you can. I'll see if I can run underneath. So on fourth down and 21, 2, 3. Fourth down and 23.
Once again, back to receive the kick, 2-5, Tyler Rice.
Good kick. And Baylor will still get pretty good field position beginning at the 44-yard line.
That's a well-executed
sure was
kick by the Fighting Irish that time.
So let's say Baylor takes over about 10-15 left to play. Hard to tell on a running clock your exact time of possession. But they'll begin on the 44-yard line. First down and 10. There's that state championship trophy. Think how hard all those practices. You start practicing soccer in the summer in August. How many laps you run?
Stout.
Just run. 3-0. Not everyone has those, by the way. State championship. Cody Davenport again. He'll pick up about 3 yards on that first down play, beginning at the 44-yard line and getting to the 47. Clock running with 9:20 and counting to play in this football game. Baylor 7 possessions. Baylor 6 possessions. 6 touchdowns. And Briggs Cherry has gone the second half. Whit Muschamp with his dad on hand.
And mom.
Yeah. Yes. I apologize, Mom. Second down. Thanks, Craig, for bailing me out again, as usual. As usual. They're just going to run Cody Davenport just like they ran Mills Knight in the first half, right?
I don't think they're in any particular hurry to
no,
open up the
to
playbook.
do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to show anything at this point, right?
No. The most important thing is that clock continuing to move.
8:15 left to play in the football game. Third straight week with a running clock and a mercy rule. So I would say they rebounded from the Macaulay loss and that pain pretty well with, 2 straight lopsided wins, and I would say in pretty good position for a third. Flares it out near side, pass complete. Not much of a gain on the play.
Nice open field tackle that time by Jet Tegeler.
Alexis Leclerc making that catch. By the way, we had to check, and we are allowed to stream the playoff game in 2 weeks. So just go access the same way you have been. 2 weeks from tonight, Baylor receiving a first-round bye as the number 2 seed in the East. So a bye next week as the playoffs get underway. Red Raiders will play 2 weeks from tonight, and it will be at home. That we know for sure. Fourth down. So they woke up Cooper Cowan, right? Hey, you got a punt. What? Oh, it's not Cooper. It isn't. Right? Taking your time.
It is. 95
Gotcha.
is still in there.
So with under 7 minutes to play in the football game, Yeah, Cooper's only work tonight has been on the extra points, and those have been several.
Frequent.
But punts, that was punt number 1 of the night for the Red Raiders. So beginning on the 17-yard line. And we have quarterback number 3 of the night, is that correct?
That was Brandon McClintock with the carry that time.
And Wilson Pollock, 5'11", 160 freshman quarterback on that last play. So a gain of a couple on first down. And again, a running clock with now under 6 minutes to play in the football game. Pollock checks with the sideline and sprints back to the huddle. Pistol look. Handoff wide and hit in the backfield again. You know, when you dominate the line of scrimmage like Baylor has tonight, I mean both sides of the football.
Looks like Charlie Silberman, number 57, with the tackle, along with...
Yeah, he got there in a hurry too, didn't he?
Briggs Howasher.
Another tackle for loss of about 2.5 or 3 yards inside the 15 now. Under 5 minutes to play in the football game. Third down, at about 14 or about 14. 3rd and 14, let's call it. 3-man front for the Red Raiders. Pass incomplete. That's one of those, you're a young quarterback, you don't get, the one thing you do not want to do, you don't want to give up a pick 6. So he throws it a little bit short, trying to have the receiver work back his way, but that's one of those, you don't want to throw those long.
Or high.
Yeah, exactly. So the Irish will punt it away once again, and Baylor again should have good field position with just over, as we speak now, 4 minutes left to play in this football game, and again a running clock. So we will turn the page to November, the next time that Baylor plays. High kick, but not a lot of depth, and it takes a Baylor bounce.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to roll dead around the 20-yard line.
Inside the 20, depending on where they spot it.
That is about a 5-yard net. Yeah, I was going to say. First time tonight we've had back-to-back punts.
Yes.
So Baylor takes over with another short field, and let's call it 3:20 left to play in the game.
Probably going to see some handoffs right up the middle. I don't think they're too keen on putting any more points on the board.
Cody Davenport, who scored 2 possessions ago, stays in the game at that setback spot. 1st and 10, Red Raiders. Inside the 20. Davenport wide and goes out of bounds. 2.5 minutes left to play in the game. You begin the drive on the opponent's 20 after a punt. Not a fumbled punt.
Yeah.
Hey. Not a bad snap.
Foot hit the ball.
Foot hit ball. Had some great hang
Just
time
not
and
very
height.
far.
Yeah. Straight up and down. Down to the 12-yard line. Gain of 8 on first down for Cody Davenport. We approach the 2-minute mark. Briggs Cherry, the quarterback, played in Knoxville last year. Family moved to Chattanooga, was looking for a quarterback home, and Quarterback's taking a knee. Don't come flying in there now.
Yep.
Just taking the knee, and with 90 seconds left to play in the game, in a convincing win for the Red Raiders. These last two games against NBA and the game here tonight, I thought Baylor would win. I think they've just been way more impressive than I thought.
I agree.
You know, well, haven't given up a point in 2 weeks. 35-0 last week, 42-0 to score right now as we approach the 1 minute mark. One minute remaining in the game. Baylor's going to use all the play clock that they can, which is down to 3-2. See, Briggs Cherry has to take those negative yards, takes that as a loss off his rushing total. That's not right.
I think he's okay with it. You get the W.
Victory formation.
You head to the postseason.
On
A
a
week
high,
off.
yeah.
And
Yeah, that's it.
And what you've worked for since June, you've earned the right to play for.
They'll host 2 weeks from tonight, Dan. We're still running time off the clock, so I'll just wait till it's official with 6 seconds left. And say now the final score is Baylor 42, Knox Catholic nothing. Baylor ends the season with a 3-game winning streak, outscoring their last 3 opponents 126-10. 126-10 over the last 3 weeks. And the team that scored the most points of those last 3, Life Christian Academy. Wow.
And who would have thought that? When you look at the MBA and Knox Catholic.
But Knox Catholic clearly just looking forward to the opening round of the playoffs, where they will go to Briarcrest next week. Baylor will have the week off, earning a first-round bye as the number 2 seed in the East. Knox Catholic, your punishment for losing tonight, you got to go to Memphis next week, right? Going to Briarcrest in Memphis next week.
Starting the postseason on the road.
Doing the push-ups over there, right? Celebrating an 8-2 regular season.
Along with the state championship soccer team.
Yeah. Won the state title today, 3-0. You can see the trophy right there. And Red Raider fans, wherever you are, join us for the Baylor alma mater. So it's 2 weeks from tonight. 2 weeks from tonight, like I said, Baylor with a first-round bye in the playoffs. The playoffs begin next week. Baylor with a first-round bye. They won't play until 2 weeks from tonight and will play here at home. And that is a 7 o'clock start. All the games, all the night games, and there may end up being a day game because of the, which I'll now call the Lipscomb situation. There may be a day game on Saturday.
And here's a look at some of the highlights from tonight. It started early. Whit Muschamp, maybe the prettiest pass of the season to Cam Sparks. 68 yards. That made it 7-0. But the Red Raiders were not done. Muschamp again. He's going to look deep again. And Zane Rastelli, the deuce was loose tonight.
He had a good night.
That catch would set up another touchdown, this time on the ground. Shakai Mills Knight, 9 plays, 57 yards, over 4 minutes on the ground to make it 14-0. That's how the first quarter would end. In the second quarter, Muschamp again gets to work. Max LeBlanc in the middle of the field, wide open. We start the second quarter with a touchdown. And again, it's number 1 with 6. Shakai Mills Knight. That makes it 21-0 to start. And after the Irish are stopped on 4th down, John Amofa Jr. led the defensive charge on that play with a big-time sack. Irish turn it over on downs. Muschamp to Amari Jefferson, balanced, and a cut right here to take it into the end zone, 45 yards. That makes it 28-0, 46 yards in just 2 plays. 2 more touchdowns to end the scoring. Muschamp again at quarterback. Briggs Cherry at quarterback.
Yeah, you're right.
And they go on the ground. Cody Davenport with a super cut right there to get to the far sideline on the left side. In for the final touchdown of the night from 28 yards out, and that's our final. 42-0 in favor of the Baylor Red Raiders.
Celebrating a soccer championship tonight, celebrating a football title, or a great end to the regular season. 8th win of the regular season. Then it's on to the playoffs, which begin for the Red Raiders 2 weeks from tonight. We'll join you then. Look forward to seeing Red Raiders in the postseason. You can join us right here.